Perspective is key in the work in terms of how things are layered. I like to play with unconscious archives of the viewer, and then that kind of encourages a slow read. There's this thing when you come from an immigration background that you're from somewhere else. Even though I was born in Canada and I was raised in Canada, the idea of home was always somewhere else. And you are sort of making it up through other people's memory, your family's memory, your cousins, your aunts, your mom, your dad. It's this kind of strange idea where you're from somewhere that's almost unreal, like a dream. And it also comes from feeling like you're not necessarily from the place where you were born. So a lot of my work would be, maybe a story that my grandmother told me from when she was little, and retelling myself that story from her perspective and how I fit into that perspective. I had an experience when I first moved to London, and my mom came, and we were walking around London, and my mom is from Trinidad and she grew up there, and she said, I can't begin to tell you how weird this is. This place really looks like my childhood. And she'd never been before. So it's this idea of copies of copies of copies, and memories and memories of memories, and how these things sort of layer and interact with each other. And kind of how migration and the colonial kind of weave together new and old narratives and what they mean. I think I've always been interested in collage as well too. And I think it has to do with just ultimately bringing together different parts of culture, because this was my experience growing up as well too. And also the idea of a dream. Like, you might not remember your dream exactly, but you might remember a piece of something. And feelings of deja vu, and you're like, I think I saw this before, and kind of trying to make meaning of these fragments all together. Maybe it's something that you're going to make, maybe it's something that you're going to do, maybe it's a tap into a possibility of something, I want people to sort of sit with that moment for a second and feel the agency in that moment of creation and also uncertainty, and it's fine. And it's a place where you can have all these negotiations, but they're not fixed in certain spaces that you already have loaded with lots of meaning and lots of maybe anxiety and lots of convictions. And somehow taking them outside of time and outside of this space is a way that you can kind of play with new narratives and new horizons and new ideas and sort of dreaming the future. Because the future is something you haven't seen before. And so what would that look like? And this kind of, this unreality space is a way to play and figure that out. And this is also a major part of what I'm thinking about in the show, the porous boundary between the past, the present, and the future as well too. When does the future start? When does the past end? Maybe the future already exists. Maybe the past exists at the same time. Maybe we can somehow connect to all of them at the same time. Maybe they're all simultaneous.